This conference will now be recorded.
Hello and welcome, Trevor. Thank you for joining me today. Before we start, I'd like to provide a quick overview of RTO9. We are a regional tourism organization that is funded by the Ministry of Heritage, Sport, Tourism and Culture Industries. We have the honor of promoting Southeastern Ontario to the world. We also work with many wonderful tourism operators within the region on various projects, from creating experiential tourism offerings to ensuring their online presence is functional. RTO9 is governed by a 13-member board of directors that represent destinations from all across our region. So Trevor, let's start with you telling everyone a bit about yourself.
Well, thanks, Bonnie. Thanks for having me here. Glad to have this chat. I'm the business development manager for the Bay of Quinte Regional Marketing Board, and I look after experiential and product development and support, travel trade, sports tourism. I'm also involved in co-creating campaigns for the organization, marketing campaigns, and collateral such as our digital discovery guide and things like that. So I wear a lot of hats, and I'm currently the vice chair for RTO9 on the board of directors. So position which I quite enjoy.
Awesome. Yeah. So how long have you been involved with RTO9, either at a board level or a committee level?
I think it's probably, I mean, you don't have the exact date, but I think I'm rounding up around 3 or almost 4 years now. So I've had one full term as a regular board member, and then I moved to treasurer, and then now vice chair. So it's been nice to hold a couple different positions over the last 3 or 4 years.
Great. And what made you want to get involved with RTO9?
I think the main reason for wanting to join the RTO was that I'd worked on the destination level for quite a while in the Bay of Quinte and in Prince Edward County, and I really wanted to see what the relationship was with larger organizations in the tourism ecosystem. And when you only work at that destination or DMO level, you kind of work in a bit of a bubble. So I wanted to see, it was a great opportunity for me to work with a bunch of other skilled tourism professionals from other parts of the region. Our board's made up of an incredible group of people who I've learned quite a bit from. So that was a nice, upside to that, is learning from them. But also, I wanted to sort of see some of the best practices from across the region, maybe selfishly how they, how it might affect the region that I come from, but also, see how the RTO, the role of the RTO, how the RTO plays that intermediary role between the province and the destinations, and learn the that sort of how that ecosystem works. And I have to say, it's been very, very rewarding learning the ins and outs of all that, and working obviously with the incredible staff of the RTO9 group.
Awesome, thank you. So Trevor, from your perspective, what role do you see that RTO9 plays in tourism in Southeastern Ontario?
Well, I think there's always been that intermediary role that's been needed for RTOs, where you have the province. It's virtually impossible for the province or the ministry to know what every destination needs in the province. So having seen the RTO in play and being part of the board of RTO9, it's very crucial to have that intermediary role where and RTO9 specifically made the important strategic shift to a destination management organization, more of a destination management organization over the last couple of years. And that's really shown me how important it is on a different level, or on a couple different levels. One, that, we're able to have, the RTO is able to know what destinations, the real needs, the crucial needs of each destination, and they're all different. So, they can sort of aggregate the needs of the different destinations, and then help the province understand what are our region or what a region would need when it comes to partnership funding or support. So I think, you know, especially when provincial governments change every 4 years, there's a real need for the RTO to be that pillar of you know, retention of knowledge, and momentum is everything in the tourism world. And to have balance and sustainability, I think the RTO allows for that balance, and also allows the destinations to have a voice. You know, when there's so many destinations, to have someone to go to like the RTO who has a voice at the table with the ministry and can be heard. I think it's a really important thing, and we've seen destinations in our region particularly being able to rise higher and achieve things that they couldn't have achieved without the help of the RTO. So it's been really wonderful to see the role of the RTO. I think it's a crucial role that needs to be there and needs to be played, and especially now as the pandemic has shown, you know, there's going to be needing more support with you know, with destinations and individual businesses.
For sure. So Trevor, where do you see tourism going in the next, speaking of the pandemic and hopefully getting over it, where do you see tourism going in the next, say, 3 to 5 years?
Well, I think, as I just mentioned, the pandemic has kind of, you know, been a wake-up call for tourism in general, and it's shaken kind of the industry to its core. So we now realize how vulnerable we are in certain parts of the industry. So I think the focus is going to be on you know, some financial stability and critical things that businesses need when it comes to staffing shortages, safety, access to financial support online, you know, moving their businesses online and virtually. And the RTO provides an opportunity to be able to create workshops, educational opportunities, partnership funding for those businesses. They can help destinations who may not have the staffing or you know, infrastructure to step in and help them recover from the pandemic, and help them shift their focus to what the new traveler is sort of looking for. And I think more and more people are starting to realize, inadvertently, a silver lining, or if you can, from the pandemic, is that people are starting to look in their own backyards for things to do. So what the RTO does is it's now created an opportunity to promote destinations to other destinations within the RTO as well. So we've had we have a great opportunity to, you know, promote Southeastern Ontario to Ontario, but to Canada in general. And you know, as people are looking away from more traditional things like going to see the Eiffel Tower, and you know, they're looking for stories and storytellers. And I think you know, the shift to experiential product development, health and wellness, finding ways to adopt and incorporate reconciliation into how we promote and how do we create, help support Indigenous product and that story into our communities. I think the RTO has a really nice is a really nice mechanism, and for that to be able to, you know, thread that line between you know, a group of destinations that under the RTO umbrella.
Awesome. So that leads me to kind of our last little tidbit of information that I'm going to ask you about. So what's your favorite outing in Southeastern Ontario? And, you know, tell us a bit about maybe your last memorable experience of the region.
Well, I'm lucky to live in an area that I used to vacation to. So you know, as a lot of people do, they vacation, you know, when they go on vacation, sometimes they get that little twinge of like, oh, could we live here? It would be amazing. So I was lucky enough to be able to make that dream a reality. And I moved from the city to Prince Edward County in the Bay of Quinte here, plant a vineyard and try and learn to be a farmer. So, you know, I love coming to the area, but while I was here, I've always loved the geography of Southeastern Ontario, the Thousand Islands. You know, I've been around the world, and you know, it's just shocking how beautiful, you know, the Bay of Quinte and leading into the St. Lawrence and the history and the geography and even, and then, for me, I'm just drawn to this area. It seems like, it's always seemed like home to me, even though I've, moved around Ontario. So, there's a incredible sense of, urban and rural. We have this incredible culinary scene. We've got a lot of talented culinary and food and beverage people moving out here and learning the relationship with the land, with the food to table. The outdoor adventure is incredible. I've been an opportunity. You can be on the water, be on the land. So, I mean, it's hard to pin down one thing. So it's hard to find a weekend where I'm not doing multiple things in multiple areas. And so, yeah, I'm really in love. It's nice to work where you love to live too. So, yeah.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. The Thousand Islands where I live is I think the most beautiful place on earth. So thank you very much for your time today, Trevor. We really appreciate everything you do in your volunteer capacity as a board member, aside from the full-time job that you hold and looking after your vineyard. So we know time is precious, so we really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Cheers.